live, go live. I believe we are live. We are. We're a little early, but whatever. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below. And of course, any links guided throughout the show will be updated onto the description after the live stream. Of course, it happens eventually. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and you, of course, are you, viewer. Thank you so much for coming and checking this show out. Anyway, today is December 5th. Today is Tears' Day, aka Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting us off in 63 BC, Cicero read the last of his Catiline orations. So what is a Catiline oration? Let's look that up here really quick. Catilinarian orations. They were a set of the Roman Senate, or a set of speeches to the Roman Senate given in 63 BC, right here, by Marcus Tullius Cicero, one of the year's consuls, accusing a senator, Lucius Sergius Catilina, Catalina, of leading a plot to overthrow the Roman Senate. Most accounts of the events from Cicero himself. Alright, so right out of the chute, we have Cicero orations. Let's just have it at that right there. Alright, let's move on up to 633. Wow, that's one heck of a time jump in 63 BC to 380. Visigoth King Sizinan convened Fourth Council of Toledo, Holy Toledo, at the Church of St. Leocadia in Toledo. All bishops of Hispania agreed to establish seminaries in cathedral cities and implement educational standards. Okay. Go education. 1771, Charlemagne became the sole king of the Franks after the death of his brother Carloman. Okay. And we all know that Charlemagne eventually became a Holy Roman Emperor. So, yeah, when did later on he became emperor. We do cover it at some point, I'm not entirely sure. Moving on up to 1349, 500 Jews of Nuremberg were massacred during the Black Death riots. And, here we go, another example of people, pointing the finger at the Jews. Why? I don't know. Why do they keep getting their teeth kicked in over and over and over again? You know, not every ass-kicking falls out of the sky, as Bill Burr would say. So, what did they do to cause this? To cause this eventual problem? But in this particular situation, they were being blamed for the Black Death, so obviously it wasn't their fault. So it was just, this was one account of false blame. But, over 2,000 years and over 100 to 200 countries, what's going on? So, anyway, moving on up to 1360, the French franc was created. Okay. And now they use the euro. I wonder, is the French franc even still around? Is the French franc still used? It was the national currency of France until the country adopted the euro as its currency in 2002. Before that, the franc had a long history that spanned more than 600 years since the first use in 1360, right there. Wow. That's a pretty long-lasting currency. Let's just add that. French franc. Alright. Moving on up to 1448, Bishop Jonah of Moscow was chosen as Metropolitan of Kiev/intoxication. What? Intoxication. Am I reading that right? Intoxication? Yeah. What? What does that even mean? Let's look that up here. He's chosen Jonah of Moscow. Okay. Okay. So if anybody wants to figure that out, Jonah, not Joha, Jonha. Why am I saying donkey and, no, wait. Yoha al-Hamad. That's the donkey or something in Arabic, I believe. Joha, intoxication. I think, I don't know. Jana Moscow. I keep pronouncing it wrong. Joha, Jana. Anyway, 1456, an earthquake struck Naples, killing an estimated 35,000 people. Naples, of course, in Italy, and that is That is devastating right there. Earthquakes are serious business. 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue and became the first European to sight Hispaniola, which is modern Dominican Republic in Haiti. Okay, it's pretty cool. Well, here we go again. 1496, Jews were expelled from Portugal by order of King Manuel I. Why? What did they do? What caused it? You know, like, let's just do a surface level scratch of that. Okay, and the expulsion brought many Jews to draw parallels with the exodus of Egypt, like Pharaoh. So here we go. So yeah, let's just add this into here. More expelled Jews. All right. You know, whatever. I'm bad with titles of links. 1623, first copies purchased of William Shakespeare's first folio, collecting his plays posthumously into one volume, bought by Edward Deering. All right, cool. I wish I had access to that. Must be fascinating. In the year 1717, English pirate Blackbeard ransacked the merchant ship Margaret and kept her captain, Henry Bostock, prisoner for 8 hours before releasing him. Bostock later provided the first record of Blackbeard's appearance and the source for his name. And I believe Blackbeard, according, it looks like it's true from this picture, but what he did is he basically dreaded, like dreadlocks, his hair and beard into wicks, and he dipped them in like candle wax or something, or no, not candle wax, but I think pitch, I'm not sure, and set him on fire during raids, so that way his head was on fire. Like he was basically Ghost Rider. He was pirate Ghost Rider essentially, without the skull showing. Moving on up to 1776, we have the first fraternity, or first U.S. fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa, William and Mary College, formed. But didn't we cover the first fraternity already a couple days ago? So I'm not going to go back and look at anything, but about a week or so we did, like, I do remember talking about the first fraternity. So hold on a second. Let's just look. First U.S. fraternity. Let's see if we find a discrepancy here. Phi Beta Kappa. Yeah, what is this? Okay, 1776. Okay, okay. All right, there's that. But I do know that there was another one, so if anybody does want to look back through the other shows and help me out with that, that'd be great. Moving on up to 1792, George Washington was re-elected as U.S. President. All right. Awesome. And we're going to have, like, several of these re-elections, so... Pardon me, 1804... Thomas Jefferson was re-elected U.S. President, George Clinton Vice President. I'm sorry about that cough, it just happened. So, no time to mute the mic with that. Then 1815, foundation of Maceió in Brazil. Alright, so let's take a look at that. Maceió in Brazil. If anybody watching this lives in that, yeah, happy birthday to your town. Pretty cool. What else? 1831, former U.S. President John Q. Adams took his seat as a member of House of Representatives. So that's interesting. Yeah, like former president continuing on his political tenure as, like once you made it to president, there's really no more, no more up you can go. So like now you're just going to be serving as a lesser position, but still pretty cool. He stayed in politics, but he's becoming a career politician, so that's a little concerning. 1832, Andrew Jackson was re-elected U.S. Wait, what? Andrew Jackson was re-elected U.S. President after defeating Henry Clay. For whatever reason, my brain thought that was who was the leader of the CSA? Jefferson Davis. I don't know why. I thought my brain went to Jefferson Davis. Anyway. 1839, we have the 10th, or 1835, between now and the 10th, so 5 days, assault on Mexican-held San Antonio by Texan rebels. And I wonder, when was the Alamo again? When was the Alamo? We covered that not too long ago. February 1836, so this was before the Alamo. Alright, so this is when Texas was... Canada? What the hell is wrong with my brain? This is when Texas was trying to become its own sovereign nation. 1846, C.F. Schoenbein obtained a patent for cellulose nitrate explosive. Okay. And what is this specifically? Cellulose nitrate explosive. Nitrocellulose. Okay. So let's just add this into the underbar. Cellulose nitrate explosive. Alright. probably not a wise idea to put explosive stuff in the underbar, but you know what? I really don't care anymore. 1847, Jefferson Davis was appointed to fill vacant U.S. Senate seat for Mississippi. That's where my Jefferson Davis was coming from, because I knew we were going to be talking about him later on, and this was when he was like put into a position just to fill a vacant seat. So that's interesting. 1847, huh? That's about 13 years before the outbreak of the Civil War, you know, around that amount of time. 1848, U.S. President James K. Polk triggered the gold rush of 1849 by confirming a gold discovery in California. Yay! Yep, good old Sutter's Mill. Everybody coming over here, land of milk and honey. And then now we're in the land of poop and drug needles. So, yeah, times change. 1854, Aaron Allen of Boston patented the folding theater chair. Yep. So anybody, who's gone to the movies or anything like that, if you've ever sat in, let's bring up an image. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what these are for the most part, but if you ever sat in one of these things, you can thank Mr. Aaron Allen of Boston for making them, or at least, patenting them and all that stuff. So, cool stuff. We also have in 1872, in 1868, we have the first American Bicycle College open in New York. What the hell is a bicycle college? Let's look that up here really quick. Let's see, Bicycle Friendly University, Anaheim Bicycle. Hold on, let's just look up the entire thing. So that's just going to give me more of this yuppie crap. What was the first American bicycle? Bicycle, common bicycle. Okay, it's not telling me. Velocipede? What the hell is a velocipede? Is it like a velociraptor mixed with a centipede? That sounds horrifying. Okay, well. Oh, these. Huh. The development of, I'm not even sure if this is the correct one, but if anybody can figure out more about what this means, what a bicycle college is, please let us know in the comment section. But unfortunately, we gotta continue moving on up with this show. 1872, ship the Mary Celeste was discovered mysteriously abandoned by her crew in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, the Mary Celeste. That is a name that is in my brain. So let's look this up here really quick. Mary Celeste. It was a Canadian-built, U.S. registered merchant brigantine that was discovered adrift and deserted in the Atlantic Ocean off the Azores Island on December 4th, 1872. Well, this is the 5th, so. The Canadian brigantine Di Gracia found her in a disheveled but seaworthy condition under a partial sail with her lifeboat missing. So nobody really knows what really happened to her. Mary Celeste. I can't type correctly. 1876, Daniel Stilson of Massachusetts patented the first practical pipe wrench. Okay, we all know about the pipe wrench. And if anybody doesn't really know about this, also known, I believe, as a monkey wrench. I'm not sure. Hold on a second. Monkey wrench. What is a monkey wrench? Oh, okay. Now I understand. That's a monkey wrench. This is a pipe wrench. Okay, I understand the difference. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. Anybody who uses these, you can thank this guy for that. 1876, a fire at the Brooklyn Theater killed 295 people who were either trampled or burned to death. That sounds like something straight out of Black Friday, during a mostly peaceful protest. So, yeah. 1879, first automatic telephone switching system patented. Alright, all the way back then, during the days where you had to call and then talk to an operator and then you waited like hours to days and like, hello, Mr. Johnson, your call to Cincinnati has come through. Like, stuff like that. And I wish Loon was here so we can talk about his party line story again. That's really interesting. Now we all have these rectangles, So, could you imagine, like, not having telephones? Could you imagine having a party line? Do you even know what a party line is? Like, so, 1908, the first U.S. football uniform numerals were used at the University of Pittsburgh. So this is when they first were putting numbers on the uniforms. 1912, the Triple Alliance among Italy, Austria, and Germany, originally signed in 1882, 20 years prior, was renewed for another 6 years, beginning in 1914, a move inspired by the instability of the Balkans, or in the Balkans. Oh, alright. 1914, CFL Grey Cup Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Toronto Argonauts win the first championship, defeated the U of Toronto Blues, 14-2. Okay. The Italian Parliament, as well, in 1914, proclaimed the neutrality of the country. Alright, and that's going to come back and bite them in the ass right here, because then 3 years later, 1917, exactly 3 years to the date, Austro-German forces launched an offensive against the Italians on the western end of their line around Asiago. Oh, around the cheese? I'm not sure if I've ever had Asiago cheese. No. But yeah, so right there, you declare neutrality, and unless you're, unless you have the mountains around you, like Switzerland did, or does, they recently joined the EU, which is, or not EU, the NATO. They joined NATO, and that's really concerning. 1920 Pro Football Playoff game, Akron and Buffalo 0-0 tie. Title is undecided. Wow, that's probably the look on all the people's faces, like nobody got a point. 1925 CFL Grey Cup, Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. The Ottawa Senators won their first title, defeating Winnipeg Tammany Tigers 24-1. Ouch, that's a drumming right there. 3 years later, 1929, we have the first U.S. nudist organization, the American League for Physical Culture in New York City. Of course, New York. Where else would something like this come from? Of course. Oh, New York. You people are crazy. 1932, German physicist Albert Einstein was granted a visa to enter the United States. Hell yeah! And anybody who has not seen the movie Oppenheimer, please go see it. It's a really good movie. 1933, Prohibition ended in the U.S. when the 21st Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified and the 18th Amendment repealed at 5:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, local time at that point. Oh. Alright, so yay, we can drink alcohol again. Woo! 1935, first commercial hydroponics operation was established in Montebello, California. Why did I speak of that with an Italian accent? Oh, God. Cool, hydroponics. Alright, what is hydroponics? If anybody doesn't really know that. Something to do with water. So, it is a technique of growing plants using a water-based nutrient solution rather than soil, and can include an aggregate substitute or growing media such as vermiculite, coconut coir, or perlite. Hydroponic production systems are used by small farmers, hobbyists, and commercial enterprises. And by hobbyists, they of course mean marijuana growers. So, hydroponics. Oops, that is a long URL. Okay, well, whoops, oh well. 1935, the National Council of that word women, formed by Mary McLeod Butine in New York City. Alright. Like women's suffrage. Women of color, are a little bit more underfoot than other women, They did have actual viable reasons to be upset back in the day. They still have a little bit of reasons today, but, compared to just 30, 40, 50 years ago, they got it nice today. So, they really got to button their yap and freaking figure out how good they got it. Granted, it can always be better, but it can always be worse. So, 1936, Armenian SSR, Azerbaijan SSR, Georgian SSR, Kazakh SSR, and Kyrgyz SSR became constituent republics of the Soviet Union, the USSR. And 1941, Football Writers Association of America was organized. Alright. And while that was going on, Sister Elizabeth Kenny new treatment for infantile paralysis was approved. Ooh, that's pretty big. Infantile paralysis. Crippled infants. Nobody wants that. That's really sad. So, cure it. And they did. 1941 as well, U.S. aircraft carrier Lexington and 5 heavy cruisers left Pearl Harbor. Just in time, too. Almost as if we knew what was happening, so that way we can have a validation to enter the war. Huh. False flag, anyone? So, anyway. 1942 as well. Sayas in court orders students of Nazi Germany to work. Okay, so child labor. Or students in Nazi Germany to work. Alright. I'm not for child labor, but, children have really got to figure out, the world is rough and got to appreciate, what they got is good until they get themselves into adulthood, and then they got to just work like the rest of us. 1942, West Indies chocolate coffee drop above Netherlands. Alright. Also, giving provisions to the people under subjugation and whatnot. 1943, NFL Philadelphia Eagle Pitt Steeler merger dissolved. Whatever that means. 1944, German troops stole all the silver coin in Utrecht. That's not nice. Like, I would have said that's not too cash money, but that is very much cash money, at least in value, but not in cool factor. So, I mean, metal is cool unless subjugated to heat, but you get what I'm saying. This is not nice. So, them Nazis always stealing everything. 1945, Flight 19, the Lost Squadron of 5 torpedo bombers and 14 airmen were lost east of Florida in the supposed Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, highly trained, people, they all just, like, vanished. Nobody knows whatever happened to them. Like, at one point they had teleported, like, 20 miles or something. I don't know. Very, very weird stories going on behind that stuff. 1946, U.S. President Harry Truman created the Committee of Civil Rights by Executive Order 9808. Alright, Committee of Civil Rights. Yet again, more government involvement in things. It was responsible for promising measures to strengthen and safeguard civil rights in the United States. Oh yeah, malarkey. We all know where this goes. So, the committee conducted inquiries, examined existing laws, regulations, and statutes, and made recommendations for policy improvements to carry out the mandate of Executive Order 9808. And as we all know, once the government gets its nose in something, the camel gets its nose in the tent. Yeah. So, that's just stupid politics. Yeah, there we go. Moving on up. What else do we got here? 1947, Joe Louis defeated Jersey Joe Walcott in 15 rounds for heavyweight boxing title. Now, what people got to realize is a round is roughly 3 minutes. So, 3 minutes a round times 15. And that's 45. Could you imagine being in the ring? Granted, you have breaks every 3 minutes, but the endurance of these two gentlemen. Well, I wouldn't call them gentlemen; they're fighters. But the endurance of these two individuals is truly, like, something to be respected. And, like, just getting hit, doing the hit. You're up there, you're constantly moving, duck and weave, do the rope-a-dope. Like, oh man, these guys are superhuman. 1948, New York Giant Charlie Connery set NFL record of 36 pass completions. Alright, I wonder if that's been broken. If anybody knows that, let us know in the comment section. 1950, Sikkim became a protectorate of India. Alright. 1952, the Great Smog of London and England, of course. There are other Londons around the world, but we're specifically talking about the one on the British Isles. Killer fog creeps in, and as still winds and cold temperatures cause pollution fueled by coal smoke to stagnate, lasting for 4 days, over 8,000 deaths attributed to these conditions. Yikes! This reminds me a lot of the fog, or the smog or whatever, like, Stephen King or whatever that movie was originated from. 1955, American Federation of Labor, the AFL, and the Congress of Industrial Organizations, CIO, merged to form the AFL-CIO, with George Meany as president. Oh, he sounds a little mean. Oh, is he a meanie, weenie, wiggity woo? 1955, historic bus boycott began in Montgomery, Alabama by Rosa Parks and other civil rights activists. Yes! You go, girl. Go, Rosa Parks. And to tie that in with that, we also have Montgomery Improvement Association was formed by Ralph Abernathy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Edgar Nixon to support the Montgomery bus protests in Montgomery, Alabama. Yes. Civil rights. It needs to be to the people, not to the government. The government is of the people, and it should not be telling what the people need to do. The people tell the government. That's how it should be. This is a real movement. None of this freaking, where was it? Like, up here, somewhere up here. Well, we just had it. Oh yeah, here we go. Civil rights bill. No, that's just a way for the government to come in and take away everyone's civil rights, all the while saying they're giving them to us. No, the people are the power. These people, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., Ralph Abernathy, Edgar Nixon, these people are the real heroes of mankind. So, Anyway, 1957, New York City was the first city to legislate against racial or religious discrimination in the housing market. Fair housing practices law, and look at how well that was working out. Look at all the people, you know, like me that are getting discriminated against now, you know. As I said, once the government gets in, then they could start doing things to whoever they want because it's legal. I mean, keep in mind, apartheid was legal, Nazism was legal, the Holocaust was legal. Just because something is legal doesn't make it right, you know? Like, the power is in the people. 1957, President Sukarno of Indonesia expelled all Dutch people. Alright, I wonder what's going on with that. What, you know, the first president of Indonesia. Wasn't he, like, later, like, oh yeah, this guy. We talked about him not too long ago. So, 1958, the Phillies dropped plans for New York sportscast as the Yankees threatened to do the same in Philadelphia. Whoops! They called them on their bluff, and they paid for it. Yikes. 1958, subscriber trunk dialing, STD. Ooh, they gotta get another name for that. Was inaugurated in the UK by Queen Elizabeth II when she spoke to the Lord Provost in a call from Bristol to Edinburgh. Alright, well, between, you know, subscriber trunk dialing and the British Broadcasting Corporation, you know, the UK really have got to start working on better, oh god, hold on a second. What is it when letters are used for words? I'm not even... Acronym, thank you. Wow, acronym, thank you. I am surprised that Google knew what I was trying to say. That was the most vague way of saying what I was trying to express. That's kind of spooky. Anyway, 1958, the Preston bypass, the UK's first stretch of motorway, opened to traffic for the first time. It is now part of the M6 and M55 motorways. And I'm pretty sure, you know, some of these, like, I've heard about the the M25 or something is just awful. I'm not sure. 1960, Ghana dropped diplomatic relations with Belgium. I wonder what's going on with that. 4 years later, 1964, Captain Roger Donlin was awarded the first Medal of Honor of the Vietnam War for successfully repelling a large Viet Cong attack. Alright. That's pretty cool. And 365 days later, 1965, Brunswick Records released My Generation, the debut album of British rock group The Who, in the UK and Australia, mates. Alright. My Sharona. Wait, wrong song. My Generation. What else do we have? 1967, pediatrician Benjamin Spock and poet Allen Ginsberg were arrested in New York while protesting against the Vietnam War. Yikes, you know, I mean, very much like what we're going through today, although not as extreme, you know, things were going on the other side of the fork. So anybody protesting the war, anybody, you know, like of any form of liberal or progressive mindset were mistreated. You know, but how they're swinging back at us is just inhuman. So, anyway, 1968, future Hockey Hall of Fame center Phil Esposito of the Boston Bruins scored 2 goals in his goaltender brother Tony's also Hall of Fame NHL debut for the Montreal Canadiens, a 2-2 tie. That's a little concerning. Like, wouldn't there be a breach in like a break in well, I can't think of the word, but like you have 2 brothers fighting against each other, so of course there's going to be a tie. You know, they're gonna help each other out. They're brothers, you know. Sibling rivalry does exist, yes, but you know, family name is the top of the list. 1969, Apple Records released the single Come and Get It by the band Badfingered. The track was written and produced by Paul McCartney for the dark comedy film The Magic Christian, starring Peter Sellers and Ringo Starr. Alright. While that was happening, we have the 4-node ARPANET network was established between the University of California, Los Angeles, Stanford Research Institute, UC Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. ARPANET, the predecessor to the Internet. So, and this is when it started, guys. The ARPANET. The Advanced Research Project Agency Network was the first public packet switch computer network. It was first used in 1969 and finally decommissioned in 1989. The ARPANET's main use was for academic research and purposes. Academic and research purposes. But yeah, it was a predecessor to the internet. Yeah, both technologies became the technical foundation for the internet. So the ARPANET and this other stuff right here. So let's add this to the underbar. ARPANET. Alright. And that's what we're using for you guys to see me. For me to broadcast to you, you know? 1970, NFL Los Angeles Rams running back Willie Ellison set NFL record of 247 yards rushing. Alright. Do we have any, no, we have no chats. Wait, I don't want top chat. I want live chat. Do we have any chats going on over here? We have no chats. Okay. Anyway, 1970, we got that one. Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe Trophy, and the Bill Masterson Trophy were stolen from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Yikes. All three. Holy cats. Obviously, they got one of them back because the Stanley Cup at one point was in the house directly next door to me when the general manager of the Mighty Ducks lived there back in the day. Awesome stories I have. 1973, Apple released Paul McCartney's and Wings album, Band on the Run, in the U.S. The commercial and critical pinnacle of his post-Beatle work tops the charts in 7 countries. Okay. While that was going on, the Chicago Cubs' Ron Santo became the first baseball player to invoke a 10-5 rule and veto his trade with the California IA Angels. Oh, okay then. 1974, First World Football League Bowl, Birmingham Americans defeated Florida. Okay. We also have an airport terminal roof in Tehran collapsed, killing 17. That absolutely sucks. So, 74 as well, the final episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus aired on BBC TV. What was I just saying about British Broadcasting Company? You need to really change your... Even though you came first, the BBC is used for a completely different set of words nowadays. Not good. 1974, NFL Seattle Seahawks formed. Alright, anybody who's a fan of them, there you go. 1974 as well, Oliver Tilden Triangle in the Bronx was named. Okay. 77, Egypt broke off diplomatic relations with Syria, Libya, Algeria, Iraq, and South Yemen. Oh, yikes, what is going on over there? Isn't that around the time of the Suez Crisis? Not entirely sure. 1978, free agent Pete Rose signed a 4-year, $32 million contract with the Phillies, becoming the highest paid baseball player at the time, which today they wouldn't even wipe their ass with that number. And 1978, Pioneer Venus 1 began orbiting Venus. Okay. 1980, Bank of Canada's Canadian Currency Museum opened. That sounds pretty cool. I'd like to go give that a look. I love museums. So, 1982, Mel Gray ended NFL streak of 121 consecutive game receptions. That is a lot of consecutive game receptions. That's one more than 120, one less than 122. 1982 as well, the NFL Cleveland Browns' Brian Sipe set club record with 33 pass completions. Okay. I'm pretty sure that has been broken, but I'm not entirely sure. 1983, Ikemod established and inaugurated with its headquarters in Kathmandu, Nepal, and legitimized through an act of parliament in Nepal in the same year. Ikemod, what does that stand for? Let's see here. Ikemod. Ichabod Crane. The International Center for Integrated Mountain Development is a regional intergovernmental learning and knowledge sharing center serving the 8 regional member countries of the Hindu Kush Himalaya region: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan. Huh. Well, that's a little strange getting all those people to work together, you know, in one room, but yeah. So, Ikemod. Iggy Buggy Doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. 1983, wow, I have dyslexia there. LA Dodger pitcher Steve Howe was suspended for 1 year for cocaine use. Yikes. That would do it. 1985, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose above 1,500 level for the first time. That's cool. 1988, federal grand jury indicted the PTO Club founder and Christian evangelicist Jim Becker for fraud after he paid hush money to cover up an alleged struggle snuggle. That is not surprising, but still concerning, you know? Like, Yeah, like, you know, these people, you know, they get up on the platform on their soapbox, start preaching this, that, and the other, especially anything religious. You really got to take with a big grain of sand, because they're trying to get money out of you. So, yeah. I mean, where did he get this kind of money? You know, from the donations, from the dish that passes around. So, 1988, Shuttle Atlantis launched the world's first nuclear war fighting satellite. And this is not a satellite to you know, launch nukes or anything like that. No, this is a satellite for, like, maybe surveillance, reconnaissance, whatever. Like, whatever it takes to fight nuclear wars before they become nuclear wars, to prevent the missile or the bomb from getting dropped ever again in hate. 1989, France TGV train reached the world record speed of 482.4 kilometers per hour, which I'm very certain has already been beaten, but let's see here. Let's just see how fast that is. Almost 300 miles an hour. Alright, that's pretty fast. That's fast for a train. 1990, British Indian novelist Salman Rushdie appeared in public for the first time in 2 years after Iran called for his assassination. Yikes! Yikes, yikes, yikes. This guy, jeez. What did he do? What pissed Iran off that bad that they, as a country, they wanted him dead? Like, yeah, he was just a novelist. Or wait, was he the one who drew Muhammad? But that was back in that was in 2000. Oh, this, okay. I remember now. Alright, suddenly I'm on Iran's side. No, I'm not advocating for anybody to get assassinated, but still, be careful what you write out there, guys. 1991, or 1990, Iraq announced willingness to speak with the U.S. about resolving the Persian Gulf crisis. Well, clearly they didn't speak enough, because then we invaded. 1 year later, 1991, the New York Daily News filed for protection under Chapter 11. Yep, just ways for these big corporations to never fully die. So, 1992, first SEC championship game. Number 2 Alabama defeated number 12 Florida 28-21. And 1993, astronauts began repair of the Hubble telescope in space. And yes, it was the biggest prescription ever created. The whole Hubble thing, a major black eye for NASA for a little while. But then we got it fixed, we got it right. Now we have the other telescope, James Webb. That's right, the James Webb. 1993 as well, the mayor of Wien in Vienna, Helmut Zilk, was wounded by a letter bomb. Who's going out there bombing their mayors? Like, okay, I mean, I know a mayor is a position of power, but like, that is ridiculous to get down to that little nitty-gritty level. Because in the grand scheme of thing, a mayor is just a plebeian, just like any one of us. You know, they're just a private first class, as would say. If you ever saw the movie In the Army Now, oh, you're a private first class, you give the orders, well, whoop-de-doo. Well, 1996, Players Union approved new collective bargaining agreement. Okay, I wonder if that's baseball. I'm not sure. Once again, I wish the Loon was here so he can educate us. And 1996 as well, Portland's Jeremy O'Neal at the age of 18 became the youngest NBA player. All right. So let's just look this up here. Youngest NBA player was it Andrew Bynum. And this was, where'd it go? Jeremy O'Neal, this was 18th birthday. Okay. So this guy has been beaten as the youngest. Okay. Moving on up into the year 2000. In the year 2000, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Soundtrack to the film of the same name was released. Okay. And in 2001, Ocean's 11, directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Julia Roberts, premiered in Westwood, California. Yeah, all right. Westwood, of course, was also the home to Westwood Studios, which, made Tiberian Sun and Red Alert, Command and Conquer, all that stuff. And then they got eaten and destroyed by Electronic Arts. Rest in peace, Westwood. Rest in peace, Maxis. Rest in peace, all the other IPs that were destroyed by a greedy corporation. 2002, The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film directed by Peter Jackson and starring Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen, premiered in New York. All right. 2005, the Civil Partnership Act came into effect in the United Kingdom, and the first civil partnership was registered there. Okay, so gay marriage or something, I guess? Something along those lines? No, I'm not sure. 2006, Audrey Hepburn's Givenchy little black dress from film Breakfast at Tiffany's auctioned for charity for a record £467,200, or the equivalent of $923,187, I believe, in that day's money, at Christie's, London. That is a very expensive dress right there. 2007, West Roads Mall Massacre. A gunman opened fire with a semi-automatic rifle at Omaha, Nebraska Mall, killing 8 people before taking their own life. Yikes. And I'm pretty sure, this was already, against regulations and everything, because, bad guys, people who break laws, they're not going to magically start obeying a special gun-free zone. They're not going to get themselves background checked. They're not going to go through the proper procedures. Bad guys are going to do bad guy things. All you're doing with all this gun control is disarming the masses, making them more reliant on the police state. Oh, wait a minute. That's exactly what they want. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, 2008, former NFL star O.J. Simpson was sentenced to 33 years in prison for kidnapping and armed robbery. Should have been convicted of murder, but, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. 2008, human remains previously found in the 1991 were finally identified by Russian and U.S. scientists as those of Tsar Nicholas II. Let's not forget Anastasia and all that stuff. Well, 2016, Malta became the first country in Europe to outlaw conversion therapy. Alright, I was thinking just this last night, if you are planning on becoming a parent, go to Malta. Live there until your kid hits 18 and makes their own decisions. Keep government out of their lives. 2017, artist Lubaina Himid won Britain's Turner Prize, the oldest person at 63 and the first non-white person. Cool. All right, I care more about the oldest person. That's really cool. First non-white woman. Okay, cool. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care what color you are, what you are, where you're from. You're a human. At the end of the day, you're a human. At the end of the day, I'm a human, and that's all that matters. Anything else is just semantics to try to diversify you from me, to try to separate you from me. Stop buying into it. 2017, Austrian courts ruled in favor of same-sex marriage from 2019. Okay. 2017 as well, Democratic Representative John Conyers, where am I? I'm trying to, here we go. Or John Conyers resigned from the U.S. Congress after allegations of that. And then we also have Netflix fired actor Danny Matterson from The Ranch after allegations of struggle snuggle filed against him by 3 women. Me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. That was just such a hijacked movement to go after men, just disgusting. And I'm going to stand by this, like right now, as far as I'm aware and I'm concerned, Bill Cosby is an innocent man. He was just the biggest name to be taken down by a bunch of angry feminazis that had a bone to pick for no other reason, just because they wanted to take revenge for anything of their made-up world in their brain. So, anyway, 2017, online store Amazon began operations in Australia. Oh no! And look at how well Australia is doing today. Coincidence? I think not. So, 2017 as well, Russia was banned from the next Winter Olympics in South Korea over state-sponsored doping. Okay, that would do it. 2017, Twitter revealed K-pop band or boy band BTS were the most tweeted about celebrities in 2017. Who cares? Why is this up here? Why is it highlighted? Who cares about BTS? Whoop-de-doo. 2018, arrest of Huawei financial officer Ming Wanzhou for possible violation of Iran sanctions in Canada's. Ha ha! Ha ha! That's what you get, you spies. 2018 as well, CO2 emissions reached an all-time high of to 2.7%, driven by coal use in China and consumption of oil in Global Carbon Project reports. Yeah, yet everybody gets all up in my grill about, emissions, your car, your fossil fuels. Go after China. Leave my ass alone. The U.S. does more to combat carbon emissions than any other country ever. And still we're under attack by the environmentalists. They need to button their yap. 2018, letter by Albert Einstein from 1954 on concept of religion sold for $2.9 million at Christie's in New York. Alright. I wish I had that kind of money because I'd totally buy that for that much. It's Albert Einstein, man. 2018, the National Day of Mourning for former U.S. President George Herbert Walker Bush as he lied in state at the Capitol Rotunda, Washington. Oh, finally, the last time he would lie. So, all due respect, rest in peace, yada yada, but still, this guy, 2018 U.S. state funeral for former President George H.W. Bush, eulogy by George W. Bush, attended by President Donald Trump, predecessors Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and Jimmy Carter. Yep. 2018, Wisconsin Republican Senate passed bill restricting power of new Democratic Governor Tony Evers. Hey, look at that. Alice's home state finally does something right. And that's not fair to her. I'm giving her shit. I know you're from Minnesota, don't you know? But I have to give you shit about, Wisconsin just because, you get mad every time and it's just funny. 2019, national strike in France. More than 800,000 people in 100 cities protest against proposed pension reform. Yep. Let's not forget about the yellow vests and everything and all that stuff that happened. And then Notre Dame just so happened to catch fire on the same exact date that Macron, who had fled the country because people literally were erecting things like a guillotine, they wanted his head. France was about to get all 1700s up on his butt about this, and then a national tragedy. Everybody, just like 9/11. Ooh, what a coincidence. So, 2019, Saudi state-owned oil company Saudi Aramco raised a record $25.6 billion in its first public share offering, makes it the world's most valuable company at $1.7 trillion. Gee, yikes. So, we also have Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives in 2019 as well, Nancy Pelosi. Sorry. Announced articles of impeachment against... here we go, this crap. So, propaganda. I thank my lucky stars. Thank you, Allah. Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you, Jesus, that this panderer is gone. So, 2019, the World Health Organization said 142,000 people died of the measles around the world in 2018, nearly 20,000 more than 2017. Oh yeah, see right there, they're trying to, get the public into mass hysteria, utilizing anything they could, and then, look at that, a bad thing happened in Wuhan, and everybody sunk their teeth into that. Hook, line, and stinker. 2020, Russia began this wording, people, with its Sputnik 5 vaccine in Moscow, despite this not finishing clinical trials. A little weird, because Donald John Trump during his presidency expedited the same thing that's causing all this problem. We can't even talk about, neither side talks about that section of what he did. It's a little funny. So 2021, first known hippos test positive for the Kung flu at Antwerp Zoo in Belgium, with staff putting Amani, 14, and Herman, 41, into isolation. Okay, now they're testing hippopotamuses. 2021, Kennedy Center honors ceremony held for Joni Mitchell, Betty Midler, Berry Gordy, Lauren Michaels, and opera singer Justino Diaz, with President Brandon attending to Washington, D.C. All right. 2022, construction began on the world's largest radio telescope, the Square Kilometre Array, SKA, in South Africa and Australia, with collection area of nearly 500,000 square meters, built to test Einstein's theories and search for extraterrestrial life. Hell yeah. 2022 as well, as this last year, 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties of the Convention on the Biological Diversity, COP15, opened in Montreal, Canada. And last but not least, Iranian senior official confirmed the country's morality police has been shut down in a concession to 3 months of nationwide protests, though may take on a different form. That is very worrisome right there. But that shall conclude the show today. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to All Things Omni Coalition. We don't just stream here on Rumble. We're not just on YouTube. We're also on BitChute, and every now and then we're on Odyssey with once or twice a week. and all that stuff. Anyway, for your dose of passive edge daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and of course, you are you. Until you catch us next time, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!